I will call it a procession of violence. They were brandishing swords and knives and chanting slogans, "Hail Lord Ram." There were some boys who could not tolerate this. Then God knows what happened.
Well, let's get more on this now with political analyst and senior journalist Javed Ansari, who joins us from New Delhi. Thank you so much for joining us, Javed. Firstly, can I start with this demolition drive? Can you explain that policy to us? Because it's taken the Supreme Court to stay this rather controversial policy, but why is it a policy in the first place?
Well, there are strong political undertones to this. And most of these drives are significantly taking place in states ruled by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Earlier it was Uttar Pradesh, then Madhya Pradesh, and now Delhi. And the victims, not surprisingly, are people from the Muslim minority community in India. New Delhi local body elections are scheduled to be held in Delhi later in the year, and there is an attempt to polarize this issue on communal lines so that the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party can also win these local elections. At the moment, Delhi is ruled by the Aam Aadmi Party and not by the BJP party, and that appears to be a huge eyesore for the BJP.
Now, the petitioner to the court challenging this demolition drive said that in some cases authorities hadn't even informed some of the owners of these shopkeepers, owners who, as you point out, are mainly Muslim. How are authorities justifying this, what appears to be this quite blatant demolition drive?
Well, the mayor has been confronted with questions and he flatly denies. He protests his innocence by saying that notices were issued, they may not have reached them, that's another matter. But the fact is that none of the victims, and these include some Hindus as well, have received notices. Even those who have permission have pointed out that their homes were demolished and their entreaties fell on deaf ears. The authorities did not listen to them. It took the Supreme Court of India to intervene, and that too, 2 hours after the Supreme Court's intervention were the demolitions brought to a halt. Today, the Supreme Court took a very strong view saying that we will take people to task if it is proved that even after we issued the orders, these demolitions went along. Look, tensions, Hindu-Muslim tensions in India are not new. But what has been happening in the last few years, in the last 5 to 7 years, since the BJP came to power, is absolutely unprecedented.
Yes, and as
increasingly
I'm sorry,
yes,
please continue.
Muslims now, there are the kind of restrictions Muslims are faced with currently on their way of life, on marriages, on food, on clothes, on housing, is absolutely unprecedented. A lot of people who've lived through partition and now believe this is the worst situation the Muslims have faced in independent India.
So you do believe then, as other critics have argued, that these are attempts in these BJP-governed areas to intimidate and harass the Muslim minority?
Well, certainly to bring them under pressure, because the majority of Muslims do not vote for the BJP. And one, this is payback time. Two, it is to marginalize them. This is what happened in Gujarat, and similar scenes are now repeating itself across the country.
And we will be keeping an eye on this Supreme Court petition. Javed Ansari, we really appreciate your time. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.